Hi guys. So I don't know why this said it was going to be a half hour later. It's kind of annoying. Let me see what I can do about that, if anything. But I'm sorry if you guys weren't on. I am gonna start because I'm exhausted. I had insomnia last night, and I'm afraid that some of you guys aren't going to be on because you thought it was a half hour later. That is a super, super bummer. But I'm hoping some of you will notice that I'm actually here. So I am going to ramble for a couple minutes, and I'm actually going to talk about, going to jump into, and hopefully you guys can watch this later, as it appears that I am on live. I'm going to talk about self-care, and I'm going to get a little bit up on my soapbox as a counselor, and how messed up our U.S. culture, at least, is about self-care. So I want you to think about, when you think about our culture with self-care, imagine what most people say when you ask them how they're doing. Depending on the setting, quite a lot of people will tell you they're stressed, they're busy, they're tired. I know, Guy, I know it said 8:30 and it was a mess up. I don't know why, but I am going to jump in. I may wait and do the meditation a little bit later so that more people can get there. And I just added something into the Facebook group. I must have just messed it up, which I've never done. I don't know why that happened. It's just a pull down menu where you click. And I must have pulled it down a little bit too far and gone to 8:30 instead of 8. So, but I am talking about self-care. And so what I want you to think about is, if you went up to someone and said, "How are you doing?" and they said, "Great. I had a massage today. I slept in. I relaxed with a book. I, went for a nice walk." Many people, on hearing that response, wouldn't say, "That's great. How are you doing that? Give me some suggestions on how to kind of have that time." Instead, a lot of people, from what I hear, say, "Oh, that would be nice." As if that's not in any way a possibility for them. And for some of us, doing that all in one day is not a possibility. Sleeping in is a rare thing for me. But I do get massages. I try to get one once a month to practice what I preach, because that's what I tell my massage clients. I do occasionally take naps when my son takes a nap. It may only be for 15 minutes, but I do take one. I do try to read at night when I can. Now, I say this having not always had this kind of a life, and I'm going to say, that it is a luxury that I have this life, but it is something I have also worked towards. It didn't just fall into my lap. I have in the past had jobs where I worked 60 hours a week. I have had jobs where I was on 24-hour call. I have had jobs where I worked full-time, part-time, full-time from home, part-time from home, the whole gamut. And I did at a certain point decide that the money was not worth it to me when I had a child, that I had to instead look at my budget, radically change what I spent money on so that I would work less, be able to spend more time with my son, and be able to have more time, because I was just exhausted all the time working full time with a toddler. I know it is a privilege. I know there are some people that no matter how they cut corners, the option of working less or not working is not there. There are many other people who think it's not there, and it may be. So there are some things that people consider necessities that we do not have. We only have one car. We don't have any kind of cable. We don't have a television. We don't eat out, pretty much. We grow a big garden so that we have a lot of produce in the summer. And again, we have the time to do some of those things. Again, I have the time to cook because I am not working full time. But I do understand that there are many, many people out there that is not an option. But there are also people who have not considered it as an option. The need for self-care is an absolute need. One of the things that we have done in this culture is we have made it so that we work so hard during the day that when we come home, we are so exhausted that we often can't think of really useful self-care methods, because at that point we don't want to think at all because we've thought all day, and we flop down in front of a television. Hi, Kate, I see you. And Tom, I see you too, by the way. And I think one of the things that we need to do is almost schedule self-care the way we do other things in our lives that are important. So if we find fitness important, we tend to schedule in gym time, or a walk. Or if you don't, you usually don't get to it if you have a busy life. If it is not a priority. Self-care needs to be a priority. I know from watching people get sick, either mentally or physically, if they're not taking care of themselves. And flopping down in front of a television every night just because it's the only thing you can even possibly think of to do is not always the best solution. Sleep if you are that exhausted. Find other things that give you self-care, because I know from my experience it's not true for everyone, and I'm not completely opposed to television. I watch YouTube a lot. I watch things on Netflix. I do watch things on my computer. It is television, but it's a conscious decision when I do that, and it's something that I feel will make me feel better at that time. It's not just on autopilot when I make that decision. You need to find the things that will make you feel better. It's one of the reasons why I even before I was a massage therapist, I so advocated massage, because it's something you schedule. It is very easy to let go of self-care. It is very easy to find something else to fill your time instead of self-care. You are better to all of the people around you. It is not selfish to take time to take care of yourself. That's why I think it's important to have a list of things, something that takes 5 minutes. I usually have people do 5 things that take 5 minutes, 5 things that take a half hour, and 5 things that take an hour that you can do for self-care. So whatever those things are for you, that will make you feel better, so you can make a conscious decision. And sleep is a big one. If you can learn, even if it's in the evening and you slept for a little bit and then got up and had the energy to do some of the things that you wouldn't do otherwise. I'm not advocating 9 and 10 hours of sleep a night, but very few of us get even 8. It's really important. As someone who had insomnia last night, I know how important it is. I am very tired, and that is why I am starting at 8, even though those of you who are jumping in may have said, but it said 8:30 on there. So I do want to emphasize that. I have, if you are on I've changed the name of my Facebook business page, so it's now Jessica Cross ASMR. And if you have not liked that, definitely like it. One of the great things is that when I like a YouTube, it automatically gets posted on Twitter, on my personal Facebook page, and on my business page. So I don't just like anything. I like ASMR videos that are great. And I like a lot of things that I think are inspirational. So I have been posting, there's this doctor called Lissa Rankin who talks about how there's almost this conspiracy among the medical professionals. And again, I think this is changing, and I think a lot more doctors do talk about stress, but she says people come in with things that are either caused by stress or stress related, and doctors don't tell them they need to cut stress. They need to take better care of themselves. They just sort of give a pill, bandage them up, send them back out there for something that's not going to solve the problem. She's got a lot of TEDx videos on YouTube. I think they're really good. Again, I think TEDx is almost always a little bit simplistic. They have like 15 minutes, but it's good to start thinking about. I'm actually going to read a few of her books and see what she has to say when she's got a longer period of time. So it is important. But again, even if you think, I don't have time to do any of that, you probably have a couple of hours to watch TV in the evening. And that could be 2 hours where you could actually feel refreshed at the end, rather than just numbed. And I used to do it too. And I still do it sometimes. When I am really, really tired, I have been known to do a TV marathon of really dumb stuff like so I'm going to throw myself under the bus here because I don't always practice what I preach. I know what's good, but I had a TV marathon of The Quest, which is a really dumb reality show. That's like a fantasy reality show, and I loved it. And I, like, within 3 days, watched them all in the evenings. But it was a conscious decision, and I wouldn't watch until I felt bad. I mean, I remember being younger and just really wanting to numb and really spending days watching. Someone gave me the CDs of The Sopranos when I had not seen it, and I literally would spend days watching all the old Sopranos until I really felt kind of sick, because I hadn't moved. I'd been eating a lot. I'd been laying around. Every once in a while, it's not a terrible thing, I don't think. it's not even a terrible thing to make yourself feel sick because then you remember I don't want to do that all the time. But it's important to make a conscious decision. So, whew, I don't know if I'd want to do a TED Talk. Maybe when all of my ideas are really flushed out. I mean, you guys are really seeing a work in progress here. You guys get what I will look back at and be really embarrassed about at certain points because I said something that was not what I think anymore. It's one of the things I really like about the platform that I use for my books is I can edit them at any time. So I've been telling people this, like every 6 months, I seem to be going back and like reading the books that I've put out and been like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I can't believe we put this out. And then I rewrite it. And then you're so funny, Tom. And then I have like my mom edited and then I put it out. And I know that probably in the beginning of winter, I will look at all of them again and be like, oh, they're terrible. And then I'll rewrite them again until hopefully at some point they will be somewhere where I really like them. Right now I like them because I just redid most of them, but I know that'll probably change. As I grow and evolve and my opinions change and the things I believe in change, which they do. And that's the way that life is kept interesting. So with that, I am probably going to jump in here. There is one other thing that I want to talk about, and I think most of you have probably seen this on my Facebook. So in all this thinking about self-care and things like that, I started sort of thinking, oh, there should be some sort of, I've had a lot of thought about games. I used to be a big gamer. I don't anymore because I just don't have the time. And again, it's not one of my priorities. I'd rather read a book with my limited time or record a video or something with my limited time right now than play a game. I will probably get back to it once my son's old enough to be a gamer, and then maybe we can play games together, which will be fun. Although he'll hate me then, so that's okay. That's funny. So I've been thinking a lot about games and how they motivate people, because they do. Like, there's I can get really wrapped up in a gaming world, and there's been a lot out in TEDx's and for years they've been talking about harnessing this. If we could harness like the gaming energy into creating a game that like helped you to be an entrepreneur or something, and that one I can't find yet. I cannot find anything. There totally should be something where you get points for each blog you write, and because trying to be an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, whatever they call it at the time, is a really, really long process. I was reading something else on business that just said like the first 2 to 3 things you try will probably fail. And it will probably take 4 to 5 years for things to really start clicking on average. It's not going to be everybody. And of course, you're always going to find the people on YouTube who everything clicked for them in the first 6 months and they were making 6 figures by the end of the year. And then you feel like a loser that that's not happening for you. So I was really actually happy to find this that said, you know, it's not till 3.5 years where things start kind of clicking for most people. And again, that the first 2 things tend to fail. So if you could find a game or somebody could create a game of some sort that gave you incentives and gave you little, you know, the things that you earn when you're doing a role-playing game or things like that, that you could have a virtual business where you got new stuff when you did actual live things like wrote a blog, like tweeted, like, you know, did marketing things, wrote, you know, whatever. So I'm putting it out there to the universe. Someone who is tech savvy needs to create this. But there has been something created, and you guys may have seen this on Facebook, is happify.com. So there is a game that kind of does the same thing with trying to be happy. And it's not just happy, because I was really looking for something that would help with anxiety and changing the way you think to help with anxiety. Again, because I think therapy is wonderful. Obviously, I was a counselor. I think it's really wonderful. But I know there are a lot of people out there who aren't going to go get therapy. Either their anxiety or depression is at a low enough level that they're functional and they don't feel like they need it. So for me, like, if you asked me if I needed a program for being happy, I don't. I'm a really happy person. If you told me I needed a program that would help with anxiety, I'd be right there, because I'm a happy person, but a lot of things worry me. And so I think it would be wonderful if programs like this really help. And again, I cognitive behavioral therapy was really my leaning. And so I think we can change the way we think. And I think it's hard. And so people get discouraged. So I like that I get a silver medal when I complete 4 or 5 of these activities in Happify. Hi, Brittany. I am glad you are here. So check out Happify. It's free. There will be something that pops up that says you have 10 days left in the beginning, and it means that they recommend 10 days for the first little program they have, but you can always do it free. There is a paid version where you get more options, but you don't have to. And so check it out. I think some people say it's cheesy, it doesn't really help, but part of me feels like the kind of cheesy aspects there are some games that I don't know how much they really help to change your brain, but they make it fun. Therapy's not fun. I mean, it's very rarely fun. Sometimes you have a breakthrough and you feel really good. But if there was a way to make some of that more helpful, or at least help some people get to a place where they feel like they can go get therapy if they need it, or the people who have had lots of therapy and just need a booster on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's great. So I'm going to shut up, or else we're never going to get through the night, and I am really tired, as I said, because I had insomnia last night. And then, of course, my son was up at 5:30 in the morning, as usual. I'm going to smudge a little bit because I need it. So I'll just smudge with some Palo Santo. And then we are going to do an interesting meditation tonight. And I hope you guys like it. Just smudge around. Nice. That's smoky. I'm gonna just check something quick. Guy, are you saying therapy can be fun? It can be. For most people, I think it's rare that it's fun. And I think for a lot of people, getting started is really daunting. I think it's until you know how to use it that it can be kind of fun. But yeah, I think it freaks a lot of people out. A lot of people who could really benefit from it will never go because it freaks them out. So I'm just looking for alternatives. There needs to be some alternatives out there. Yeah. I mean, I tried to be a fun therapist. And it's funny because I've noticed that a lot of things that I do from intuition is now coming out in therapy as a good method. So I think I talked about, I used to do critical incident stress debriefings, and you were supposed to just talk through. So I would go out, if there was a bank robbery, I would go out to the bank afterwards, and you were supposed to make them just retell it and retell it and retell it and retell it. And I never felt really comfortable with that. I would always go in and kind of say, I'm here for anybody who needs me, and I know this can be tough, and here are some of the things that you might experience over the next few weeks, but I wouldn't have people talk it over and over and over and over again. And they now have found that that actually is not helpful, that it's better to kind of take a few weeks, maybe do some journaling on your own, and then come back. And so one of the other things that I have found, and of course there will be therapists out there that will disagree with me, and I think there are therapists who have different methods that work really well for different people. But for me, I have always found that distraction is often a really good therapy method. So not necessarily talking something over and over and over again. I would never stop somebody if they came in and they had something traumatic from their past or currently that they wanted to talk through. Of course, it's a safe place to do that. But I would often also try to get people to move on and start thinking, and I'm not saying like move on, let it go, don't ever think about it again. I'm saying, what are you going to do to alleviate that stress right now? Because if you sit in that stress constantly, you are going to have a very hard time. And so you have to find something that can distract you at least periodically from that stress. And they're now coming out saying that that is actually a really good method. And when something is really upsetting you, it's not always helpful to just sit in it and sit in it and sit in it. But it's helpful to find distractions. So it's something that was intuitive for me. I always like when the research comes out to back me up a little bit. And so I think Happify is nice in that way too. All right, so I need to center a little bit, so I'm going to also do a little bit of hand massage just to circle the energies. And I want everybody to stop yapping. And I want everybody to relax a little bit. And this is a new meditation for everyone because I did not even write this one up yet and send it over to Kate. So she does not know what's coming. And circling the energy between us. Knowing the energy is here to support us and help us. Okay. And I want you to get comfortable and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. And I want you to picture yourself walking through a garden, but it's a large park garden, very similar to the one where we entered the tree. It actually may be for you even the same garden where we earlier found the large tree that we entered. But right now we're walking down a path, a rather large path, that curves a bit to the left ahead. And you see a sign on the side of this path that says life. And as you walk down this path, I want you to look on the path and to the sides of the path, as there should be an item or two left for you here along this path. It's okay if you don't know what this item means, but I want you to pick it up. You may have a bag with you or a basket, or the item may fit right in your pocket. I want you to pick this item up and look closely at it. And you may know what it means, You may not, but I want you to take it with you and continue to walk as the path curves to the left. And before you get to the end of the path, as you can see the end up ahead, you see that there is another path to your right that's close by. And I want you to cross over to this other path, turning around so you walk back in the direction you came, although this path curves a bit to the left, so it's not quite parallel to the other. And this path has a small sign that says head. And as you walk down this path, look again for an item. And when you find that item, I want you to pick it up and look at it. You may know what it means. It may be a word, it may be a symbol. They're all metaphors of some sort, except maybe the word. You may even see something written into the path. And as you walk, you see there are a few paths that cross this path. Pass by them for right now, until soon you can see that this path also ends up ahead, and there is another path that crosses this path. And I want you to take a left onto this new path. And you see a sign along this path that says health. Again, I want you to look for an item or a word or a symbol on this path. Pick this up. And take it with you. It may even be an animal. That is possible as well. And soon you come to another path that crosses again. And I want you to take a left onto this path. And you see a sign on this path that says heart. I want you to walk along this path looking for another item. And see what you find. Items may be so big that you can't take them with you. But remember what they are, and you may know what they mean. And generally, if they are large, it means abundance, that you will have plenty. And soon you come to another path. And I want you to take a left onto this path. And there's a sign on this path that says career. I want you to walk down this path and look again for some sort of sign on this path. soon this path returns you back to the original life path. And I want you to take a left, heading back out on this life path. And up ahead, you see a guide of yours. Walk up to your guide and greet them. And this is your time to ask any questions that you may have about the items you have found. When you are done, thank your guide and continue to walk through this garden on your life path. Begin to hear the sounds around your physical body. Wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. And if you have something to eat or drink, this is a good time for that. In the meantime, I will do a little hand massage to return us to our bodies. You can also give yourself a hand massage. You do not have to have any idea what you are doing. Here is my hand massage from a licensed massage therapist. I go in between the bones. I pull on each of the fingers, just kind of massaging and pulling on them a little bit. I use my thumb on the inside. I also can use my knuckles on the palm. And then I use the reflexology points and use my thumb all along the bottom, go up a little bit, usually about 4 points in the middle, up one more, 4 points, little circles, and up and under each finger. And then just squeezing your hand a little bit, and you're good. And you can do the other one in between the bones, pulling on each finger, using your thumb in big strokes, using your knuckles, and using your thumb in little circles all over the palm of your hand. It's a nice way to return yourself to your body. And squeezing the hand. And I hope you liked that one. If you did not guess, those are the major paths on your palm for a palm reading. So this is your lifeline. That's where we started. This is your headline. So this is the way you think. This over here, and of course, they aren't all, not everybody's palm will have them cross in the same way, but this is your health line right there. This is your love line. And this is your career line. This one in the middle is your success line, but we didn't go on that one. So again, I have very mixed feelings about palm readings. I don't know. Again, I don't really believe in divination. So I will just say this. I don't believe in a lot of things that predict. I think we have free will. I think astrology, the moon cycles, tarot, oracle cards, it gives us guidance. And it gives us guidance mostly for right now. It may give us guidance as to suggestions as what to do right now for the future, but I don't really feel for me that it tells the future a whole lot. So that's just for me. I'm glad you enjoyed that hand massage, Tom. Oh, hi, Shannon. Glad you're here. Everything is good. I am going to swing my closet door open a little bit because it is a hot one today. And I'm going to do readings for everyone. I'm going to get started here. We'll see who's here tonight. There are the usual suspects that I'm going to do readings for. I think I'm just going to go through my list and get everybody. And I'm going to do healing with the fairies tonight because I figured that was appropriate for self-care. And I am, I think, going to start with Bree. I hope everybody found that interesting. I kept smiling. So this was actually interesting for me. When I do meditations with you guys, although I am there, a lot of the times the actual metaphor part, although I can see the paths and things like that, I don't usually find the metaphor. So I don't usually pick up items. I don't usually actually have conversations with my guides. But I did today. So for my lifeline, I found a top, which just for me means my life kind of spins around. I have a lot of spirals in my life. So I will often think, why did I do this? It isn't going anywhere. And then 5 years will pass and that thing will become very important and something I needed to do. And I think a lot of us do. We spiral around. We grow. You know, we don't grow just in one direction. We grow a little bit and then we grow on other things and we come back and we grow there again and things like that. For my, I'm trying to think of everything that I found. For my headline, I found a heart because my head is in my heart. For my health line, I found a bluebird, which just for me means happiness. So I'm hoping that that means, at least right now, my health is very happy and good. And then what else did I find? On my heart line, I found huge amounts of gold. I have a lot of love in my life and have been very blessed with love in my life. And then on my career line, I also found another spiral. So it really indicates the way my career has gone. So I learn one thing and then I learn something else that seems completely unrelated, and then it comes back that those things combine to something else, and that, you know, that's been sort of my path. So I hope you guys found some good stuff. Bree, you have awakened to your true self. I'm hoping, see, that card's not coming through really well, but it's a fairy with a bunch of flowers. And I'm going to read you a little bit about what that means for you, Bree. You're beginning to recover your natural identity, including your old sense of humor, interests, passions, and desires. Trust that any confusion or changes you're currently experiencing are part of your healthful evolution. Again, if any of these don't make sense to people, and I did have a few requests last week in private messages, just reach out to me and I can tell you the rest of what's in the book for your card, because I'm just giving you the little synopses. So Bree, that's you. I'm going to do a reading for Samira, who, this is too late for her, but she would like a reading. Samira has Breaking Free. That card comes across a little bit better. Let me find that one. Do you feel trapped in some life area? This card asks you to take the first steps in freeing yourself from any unnatural restrictions. I hope that is helpful for you, Samira. Everybody take good care of yourself this week. It's hard. Again, nobody comes and pats us on the back for taking a nap, and they should. Even my husband, as well as he knows, sometimes will roll his eyes when I'm like, you need to watch my son while I go get a massage. And he knows better. But again, it's just part of our culture. We're not supposed to take breaks like that. Shannon, you have making new friends. Again, I don't know if you can see that. That one doesn't want to come across either. It's very glary. So that is a fairy that is reaching out for some butterflies. Making new friends. Your circle of friends and acquaintances is shifting to a higher frequency. Old friends may part ways. I've had to do that recently. And new people are entering your life. I've had to let go of a lot of things recently. I have had to let go of things that take up my time, but are not rewarding to me. So I had one salon that I worked out of occasionally. And I realized that every time I got a call from the salon manager to schedule a massage, my stomach sank. And I finally listened to that. It'd been like that for years. I didn't want to go in there. I didn't like the feeling of the place. And so I did. I told her, yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm done. I didn't leave them high and dry. I did it appropriately, but okay, this is for you, Guy. And I don't know if you can see that. Happily Ever After, Guy. What an awesome card. So you can't, I'm sad these aren't coming through very well. So that's a little like elf or gnome or something. And there's a unicorn with a person on the unicorn and a bunch of fairies flying around over here. And it is Happily Ever After. A happy outcome is assured. Release any anxiety and feel secure that everything is resolved in the end. I hope so, Guy. I'll pull a card for Sarah from Medusa. You're welcome. Hi, Mona Lisa. I would love to do a reading for you. I will add you on here. Okay. So this is for Medusa. Ooh. Hope you can see that one. Follow your dreams. There's a nice little sleeping fairy. Oh, it's right next to Happily Ever After. Meditate on your heart's desire. Rearrange your schedule so that you're spending time in ways that are truly meaningful for you. That's a good one for all of us. All right, Kimberly, who cannot be here with us, I don't think, but would like a card. I hope you're all doing well. As tired as I am, I was so happy to do this tonight. I also did a role play before this while I was waiting for this to start. And here are some of my props. Let's see, can you see it? One good thing about having a 4-year-old is I have immense amounts of costumes now. And I was like, oh, role play heaven. I have so many, like he loves costumes, and it's one thing I don't mind buying him because it's pretend play. I think it's important, a lot more than just garbagey plastic toys. So we have just ridiculous. We have like 3 just night costumes, and we have lots of pirate costumes. And so I've got to start doing role plays with them. They're fun. Okay, so Kimberly also has Happily Ever After, and I am going to read a little bit more of Happily Ever After. So this is for you too, Guy. This is a reassuring card signaling that the movie you are currently starring in has a very happy ending. Situations that appear sticky are miraculously resolved, misunderstandings are forgiven, mistakes are forgotten. Oh, I love that card. That is a wonderful card. I like this deck. This is another Doreen Virtue deck. I don't use this deck very often. I really should. It's a nice deck. All right, so this is for Sophie. Sophie has, creative expression. So it has this fairy with a butterfly on her hand and a lot of butterflies behind her. Your heart needs an outlet to express powerful emotions. By drawing this card, your urge to engage in an artistic or creative endeavor. Yes, my son runs around in costumes first thing in the morning. My son walks into town in costumes. And I'm sorry, like if you want to meet people and have people be nice to you, walk into town with a 4-year-old who's in like full pirate getup. People are nice to you and people talk to you and people are really nice to him. It kind of renews my faith. And for somebody who's shy, walk around with a 4-year-old in full getup. And people will be like, did you have a party? Did you have? It's like, no, this is just every day. He's Luke Skywalker. Now he's started doing combinations of things. He likes to do combinations of things. So he's King Arthur a lot, but he'll be like he was like, were pirates ever knights? And we were like, well, not really. And he'll be like, well, I am one. And then he kind of mix and matches his costume. So he's awesome. Brittany has visualization. So here you are. And yeah, Brittany's here. All right, let me read this one to you. Can you see it? Could you see that? Yeah, actually, that one comes through pretty well. Okay, let's look up visualization. Your clairvoyance, your dreams, and the pictures in your mind's eye are becoming more clear and powerful. This card asks you to trust and to develop your visual skills and to use them in conscious manifestation. Tomorrow is the full moon, Brittany. I would recommend for everybody, but I would especially recommend for you with this card that you should meditate and again, meditate can be close your eyes for 5 minutes in bed. When you first wake up in the morning, or like when you're tired in the afternoon, close your eyes for a little bit, ask your guides some questions, and see what your guides have to tell you, or see what pops into your mind's eye. Yeah, there's a few different artists that did this, so there are some of these cards that I like better than others. So I'm just going back and reading comments. My son does go to school in costume. The deal we have worked out is he can walk into school in his costume, and then he has to take his costume off and I take it back out to the car, because otherwise the kids are going to want to wear his costume. And my parents were both teachers. I know it's not helpful to give things that other kids are not going to be able to use or take home and have him bring them to school, and then he doesn't want to share them, and then other people want to wear them, although he's pretty good at sharing costumes. He does often go to bed in a costume. I won't let him go to bed. He wears a lot of jewelry. Jewelry is so he'll wear, like when he's a king, he's got a lot of golden jewelry on. He's got an anchor necklace that my mother bought for him that he coveted. And so when he's a pirate, he wears that. I won't let him sleep with necklaces on, but he often sleeps in costume. Right now, he thinks it's very novel to just sleep in his underpants because it's hot and I will let him. He's always a billion degrees, even in the middle of the summer. Yeah, he's Sir Pirate Master. Yeah, he's everything under the sun. He will put crowns on over his knight helmet. So if anybody thinks of some really good role plays in any way incorporating a pirate or a king or Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, could do a good like ear to ear Darth Vader role play. That's really funny. That might have to happen. We were having rehearsal the other night, and my son had taken a long nap. He's not usually awake for rehearsal in our house, but he came downstairs, and as we are practicing a piece, he goes around, he puts a different hat on everyone, and there's like 9 of us in this group, and he had a hat for everyone, although he did try and put a Darth Vader mask on one person. I vetoed putting on the Darth Vader mask. So we had people in like astronaut helmets. It was really funny. You know, we don't have a Santa Claus. I take that back. He does, especially after Christmas, after we've talked about Christmas for a while, he will put on all red, and he loves tape. Tape is my arch enemy because I find it all over the house. And he wants to make a tape beard all the time. He does a lot of tape mustaches. It's really funny. So yes, he does. He is Santa Claus. He has an amazing imagination, and I will just say it is not letting, I really think a big chunk of it is not letting him watch TV much. We let him watch when he was little. We didn't let him watch any. Now we let him watch maybe an hour a day, which seems like a lot to me, but I know is not much. And he often watches the same shows over and over and over again, so they become part of pretend play. He has a huge imagination. He's really funny. My husband wakes up most mornings to some costumed little boy rising up from the side of the bed to be like, so one day, I don't know if I told you this. So a couple weeks ago, he had, I told you about the clip-on tie, where he goes, okay, you are Darth Vader, and I am Luke Skywalker, but I'm in disguise. And his disguise was a clip-on tie. So yeah, he's awesome. He's really funny. All right, this is for Robin, who is not with us. Be honest with yourself. Let's see. Can you see that? Gosh, the glare is terrible. Okay. Let me read that one. 4-year-old. 4 has always been like my favorite age when I was working with kids, because they're just hysterical. They're so freaking funny. He's so funny. Except he started saying, I think my dad taught him, shut your cake hole. So now he will tell people to shut their cake hole, and I'm afraid I'm going to get like called into school. He also calls people jackholes, and that's from me, because I call people in the car jackholes. It's not really a swear. This card indicates that you're hiding your true feelings and aren't being forthright about an important topic. The fairies urge you to admit your true feelings to yourself. That is for you, Robin. Okay, I'm going to do a reading for Amber. Oh, there's tons of things he hasn't dressed up as, although I will tell you, a princess is not one of them. He is a princess periodically. He has a tiara that he picked up from a moneyless tag sale at my church. And I don't know. What has he not gotten into? I don't know. Name it. You start naming stuff, and I'll tell you if he hasn't, but probably he has. He has a ghost costume. He's a mummy. He used up all the toilet paper. I found it like shoved underneath the little table in the bathroom because he had wrapped it all around himself. Okay, this is for Amber. Ooh, raising your standards. That's a nice one. Let me read that one for you, Amber. Don't settle for less than your dreams. Once you make the commitment to manifest an improved situation, the universe will find a way to deliver it to you. No, he doesn't wear my clothes. He doesn't. He's never been into wearing anything of mine at all, or his dad's. He wants to be he really will wake up in the morning and say, who do I want to be today? What an awesome way to live your life. Who do I want to be today? I don't know. He's a Scorpio, that's why. He can be whoever he wants. Kate. Oh, Kate has family harmony. Interesting. I don't know if that applies with you, Kate, because I don't know if you have any family issues. But let's see. Your relationships with family members are healing as you hold loving thoughts and feelings about the souls involved, including yourself. You experience genuine harmony within your family. That's a nice one. Tom, I'm going to do a reading for you. Thomas the Train? No. Thomas doesn't have... Again, he never watched Thomas, so Thomas doesn't have enough. He's seen like 2 Thomas the Tank Engines. I hate Thomas the Tank Engine. So I tend to let him watch shows that I don't mind having on. So he's never tried to dress up like Thomas. He has some Thomas the Tank Engines, and he plays it every once in a while, but he's more into setting up train tracks rather than actually playing trains. Okay, Tom, you have kick up your heels. Sorry, it just makes me think of an ex-roommate I had, and he loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and he was a really quiet, kind of stoic guy, and he would like run around kicking his heels on the floor to Buffy because he loved it. And I love him, and I heard from him the other day, and I hadn't in a long time. Sorry, made me think of him. Your soul longs to celebrate and have fun. The fairies urge you to call your friends for a get-together or an evening out. Is he often nosy? Huh. I mean, yeah. In terms of he wants to know everything. No, is nosy? Oh, noisy. Is he noisy? He's 4, so of course he is noisy. But my husband and I both have sort of, it's funny because my husband's a musician and I sing, but we both sort of have noise sensitivities. I wear headphones a lot when I work because I just can't stand a lot of noise. So my son has learned not to be really loud because it drives us crazy. Oh, V, you're here. Let me do a reading for you right this second. Because you were almost next on my list anyway. V has beauty. I don't know. She kind of looks like a vampire to me. She's not. So V, let me read you beauty. Appreciate and amplify your natural attractiveness. Your beauty is most apparent when you're happy and satisfied. That is nice, V. All right, and I'm going to read for Mona Lisa. Yeah, I can't. 4 is a very, very noisy age. I mean, 4 is an age, at least with my guy, where like a game is running into something and going, ow, and then turning around and going back and then running into it again and going, ow. We woke up this morning to, he falls in love with certain songs. So we woke up this morning to, my husband's been doing this all day. Him just singing, da, 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 slam, da, 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 slam. He was just slamming doors around the house at 5:45 in the morning and singing Can Can. That's how we wake up in the morning. To my son singing Can Can for no apparent reason, because he likes it. Okay, Mona Lisa has inner power. Thank you, V. V, we need to do a collaboration soon. I'm getting back onto role plays, so I've been just thinking that you and I need to do that collaboration role play that we thought about. I will be in touch. Why can't I find it? Inner power, Mona Lisa. You are now allowing yourself to experience and express your true power. The fairies ask you to affirm, it is safe for me to be powerful. Oh, that's a nice one. I like that one. Ooh. Yeah, I heard that on your vlog, V, that you had gotten some new software, and that's awesome. Awesome, awesome. I also have to say a thank you to Tom, who helped me out with some editing and did some amazing stuff. I can't. You know, the one thing about having Tom help me is, and actually hearing somewhat what he does, I felt a little less dumb because I was like, yeah, I never would have figured that out ever. So I don't feel so dumb that my audio is not as nice as I would like it to be, because clearly you need to know more about audio than I know. So, all right, Mindy has self-reliance. Let me read that to you, Mindy. I do too, Tom. And Tom, I will do a hangout for you, I promise. You are your own best friend, and you can provide for yourself emotionally and physically. Oh, that's a good one, Mindy. And now I have one last one, unless there's somebody on here who would like a reading who I haven't given one to. Katie is my next one. And Katie may sort of be here floating around, but probably not. Katie. Katie's been getting some nice cards lately. New location, Katie. I hope so. Let me read that one for you. I know that's been something you've been thinking about, if it hasn't already happened. A change of venue is coming your way. Most likely you are moving to a new residence. However, this card could also mean that you're changing the location of your employment. So, I like these cards. I need to use them personally a bit more. Although I'm loving the Lenormand right now. Ooh, sorry. Woo! I caught that with my toe and pulled the cord. Sorry about that, guys. And let me just... MDK Brew. Would you like a reading? Catch me quick if you would. Oh, that's Mona Lisa. Okay, good. I couldn't remember if you had given me your name. Hi, Marin. Let me pull a card for you quick before I call it a night. I'm so glad you're here. And your name is now spelled right. Okay. Marin. Marin has... Ooh. Trust your intuition. Sorry, I hit the button so that I can't see me anymore. Trust your intuition. Beautiful card. Let me read that for you, and then I'm going to call it a night. I got like... My eye is like bloodshot, and I'm just so tired. I'm sorry if I'm a little bit loopy tonight. It is safe for you to follow your heart's guidance. You know deep down what to do. This card asks you to trust and follow this inner intelligence. That is another good one for everybody. So I urge you guys to take care of yourself. this week. I actually started putting together a list of like what points I would give people for different self-care and wellness type things. So, you know, giving yourself 25 points just for getting out of bed, giving yourself 10 points for every healthy meal you eat, giving yourself a point for every minute of exercise, and giving yourself a point for every minute of meditation, and seeing how many points you can rack up at the end of the day. I had other things on there too. 8 hours of sleep, you can get some big points. Taking a shower. So if you guys can think of any other things that I should add in there that would be good for if somebody has to create a wellness game, maybe I will do it. Or at least one, I was thinking it would be something fun for a workshop sometime, if we kind of counted up our points and had little challenges during the workshop. So, all right, I will sleep well tonight. I will probably sleep well in about 20 minutes. So I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I look forward to meeting with you guys again next week. And then I think next week is our last regular video. And then the week after, we'll do private meditations, or personalized meditations. So Marin, these are so far, barring problems, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we will be here next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless something happens. Marin, if you look up the Passion Project on Facebook, you can also get added to that group, and that's where if I do need to make a time change, I will put it in that Facebook group. So you can check on there, and I hope to see you guys next week. We'll do the personalized meditations, and then we'll do a hangout, I think. And I'll try to put together a little meditation we can do on the hangout too, but if all goes to hell because it's a hangout, we'll roll with it. So good night, guys. Have a wonderful week. Have a good full moon tomorrow. You may be noticing that things are a little rocky with the full moon energy coming up, or you may not. I like full moons. I think they're fun. They're a nice way for me to kind of check in with how my month is going, and are things that I wanted to have happen this month happening, and what do I need to do to try to make them happen before the end of the month. So good night, everybody. Have a great evening and great rest of the week. We'll check in on Facebook.